Good morning. How you doing? This is Thursday. It's amazing how the days go by so fast, and it's a different kind of feel because it is towards the end of the year, and a lot of people are forced into wanting to feel excited and celebratory. But this is for the people that are coming abroad or have come abroad. Who remembers that video where the girl said the husband took her away from his COS and it takes all her money? That sort of, I saw something on it yesterday again, and I started to realize it is only Nigerians that I ever heard say money na water. What is water? I don't know the kind of help that you get in Nigeria, but I also know that in your carelessness of handling your business, when you go to all those places where you go to ask for help from, they sleep with some of you, don't they? Some of them degrade you so badly. We must begin to give money its place. That sense of entitlement you have where you go to your uncle, your cousin, your friend, your sister to beg for money does not exist abroad. There's nothing like that here. Only if you want to be disgraced and cancelled. It is only the work that you do. And I'm saying this because it's towards the end of the year, and I was talking to a few friends and they said, do you believe it? But my brother's wife that I've never met, nieces that they've never met, and we have been abroad here struggling, trying to make our lives better. They are not even like 23, 25-year-old that just got married. These are old people. Men in their 50s and 60s. You go marry wretched women in their 50s and 60s like you. They have their children, they have their grandchildren, and yet they will call your own daughter, call your nieces abroad to ask for help. What happened to their own generation of family that they can't request for help? I would always come here, perhaps I sound brutal like Peter Obi. I'm not listening it with bows and tying the knots to make you feel good. You have felt good for too long. Nigerians are overindulged in the wrong things. You are the same ones with culture that if you don't fuck each other enough to have children, finish all the children in your womb, you will be sick. You enjoy sex, bringing children alive. When I stay here and I see the way our own children and the system treats children, no wonder Nigeria is a broken society. You have no respect for life. You just lay down on the bed. I don't know if to blame the men or the women, and you just have children. Because you have cousins, you have mothers, you send your children away. Do you know psychologically how devastated and how damaging you make your children? I see some of them abroad here too. You want to work hard, so you send your children to Nigeria to be brought up by 80, 70, 90-year-old men and women because you want to chase money. All I'm here to say is going to be very short. Everything that we are working for right now, some of us have already destroyed the results ahead in time. You will get the bitterness and the destruction. Make all the money. Send your children away from you so that you can work hard more. Send them Nintendo and Game Boys to make up for your absence. I will tell you that you cannot cheat God. God has ordained for children to be with their parents, which is why I will encourage family planning. If there's no family planning, then go without. There are people that are not having everyday sex. But you know the thing about my people is they know how to shame those that are doing right. They want to panabit you into corners so that you can join their recklessness and their irresponsible act. We are not honest enough about anything in life, starting from underneath our roof. I said it here once. I said sometimes it is possible for our men to sit down and look at their children and their wife and say, it won't long. Are all these people my responsibility? because the children that are grown enough are still expecting daddy to give them money. The women in the house are enjoying the full-time housewives. None of you all, not the children, not the wives, are looking at the weight the men are carrying. They will pay house rent, give you food money, buy you the latest thing. Then you say your husband shouldn't cheat, kill and destroy. You say your husband shouldn't support the government. That is not right. You want justice to reign. How can you have the best of both worlds? You can't. If you are traveling abroad, stop making promises you can't keep. See, the problem with that girl was that you are forgotten. For everybody now that the husband or the wife or the children are filing for, may I willingly announce to you that they are doing it with debt, credit card. They have to pay the money. So when you come here as a wife or husband, don't expect to have what you call your own money outside of little allowance for the next 6 months to 1 year. Because for your husbands to file for you, or your wives, or your partners, your parents, they have to adjust certain you know what I mean, tax papers and all that stuff. Because you all don't seem to respect money. I'm the only one that seems to be talking about money outside of lying to you that you can become a millionaire overnight, that other people are doing. There is none of us right now watching me that doesn't know that money is the oil that makes the world go round. It is a different orientation in Nigeria, in America, in London, Germany, Canada. The only time you get help is if your father dies, your mother dies, and they need to help you bury to cover the sand, and it's different. If your family members die here, the contributions they do for you is not to go and bury them as the way I buried my son at Forest Park Hill. That is too funky. They will lead you to outskirts of town just so that you can bury your loved ones. I don't know why God loves us so much that He has given us the examples to live by. Modesty. But you know, you're not looking at the psychological issue, like the article I wrote yesterday on thralls. You think that thralls are just stupid people chasing clouds. No. Utini dopamine effect. A lot of the things that you're doing, that you can't stop doing, already has wired in your brain. There is that serotonin and norepinephrine impact. It has become biological. You are now being supporting your habits with biological backups. Neurotransmitters have been shifted. You are not functioning as yourself alone. You're not. When a child is birthed and the mother dies, all you are all concerned about is that that child gets to eat and feed. You're not thinking about the psychological impact it will have on that child. Your presence in the life of that child will help the child form the right relationship in the first years of development. Then as that child begins to grow, it begins to notice how it's different. It begins to want more. Because God gave mothers, direct mothers, most of us, the ability to let our children grow up a little spoiled, a little disciplined, just to be moderate. But you have been taking care of your sisters or your brother's children, the one that died. You said you would be father and mother to them. How far? Are you truly father and mother to the orphans in your care? To the people that God has given you life above? Those children that have no mother, no father, you think they will never become anything. You take care of your own children and you treat them differently, but they are not talking now. They don't have laughter, and if they do, they have fake laughter. When did you last call them separate from the other children and say, how are you feeling? I know you are missing your mom. I'm sorry that you lost your mom and your dad when you don't have what God had to have put in place for you. Always understand that the people that are trying to do us be like can never truly be. We are humans. Until we begin to admit our limitations, we will never be extraordinary. That is why I've come here this morning, that we don't need to walk like drunkards in the path that life throws in our way. We need to walk with consciousness, aware of the responsibilities that we have and the limitations in our lives and the differences in our uniqueness with others. I'm not Lizzie Anjorin. I'm not saying Mama. I'm not the beggar in front of my house. I'm not the wealthy woman up across the street. I am me. Nobody is like me. What I can tolerate and bear is different. There was a time I first came here. I acknowledged my friend up here for giving me a place to stay. I would travel, he paid for my car, rental car for the first month. He's married, nothing dirty going on. And I appreciated that. And then I moved closer to work, and it was one bedroom, one room, not bedroom, one room with a toilet and a bathroom, just one self-contained. And so he said his wife was coming to my area to school, and you would think it was time for me to pay back. No, I didn't, because I couldn't. I cherished that friendship enough to admit that at 50-something, the least I could do was have my own room. I was away from home. I was dealing with a lot. There was no way I was going to be able to respect that friendship enough if I let the wife come to stay. I prayed at odd hours. I was in school full time. I was working full time. That little space was the only place that kept me sane. So I told him, I am so sorry. If you want to, we could meet half and half, and we could rent a place for her or get another room for her. But this is my room. This is my palace. This is my sanity, my anchor. It is not by force that you repay those that have been good to you at that moment in time. But communication is very important. It is not so that I have to return your money to you on time, but I don't have to wait until you come to ask me. I am seeing that the date is coming close. What I can do is approach you and say, my sister, please, that loan I took, I don't have it all. Can I pay this amount pending that time? We need to stop damning all consequences, which is what we're good at doing. You will even have your friends advise, they're going to do nothing now. Is it going to kill you? If you don't have, you don't have now. After all, you didn't force them to put the gun on their heads. We are the most callous human beings alive. And it starts with us. With not respecting the lives that God has put in our charge, in our care, as the husband, the head of household. That is why your children have become your enemies secretly. That is why your wives have been able to turn your children against you, because you are not taking the time to respect the way things ought to be. No matter, stop doing tough love and tough heart. In this bad economy, you need to come down to the level of your children as long as they are a little grown, about in 10, 12, 14. You don't need to put the whole weight on their minds, but you need to take the world away from their eyes. Yes, their friend's father bought Nintendo. Their friend's father just bought a new car. Their friend's father just built a new house. But you are not their friend's father. You are not operating from the same economy. Let your children know. Carry them along. Let them know that in future they will enjoy. Because I said it here once too, when we were in school, we played with the children of the rich. And one more breath weight, and one more this, and one more that. We played with the governor's children. Fatima Mohammed went to Methodist Girls High School. We were all gallivanting, doing literary and debating society all over town. The day we finished secondary school, they didn't wait for their results. Their fathers threw them, in America, in England, in that. Then we came back to our realities. You cannot escape the stories of your lives. I have decided to stay honest and respect money until I die. If you give me a penny, I respect it. If I work and earn my money, I respect it. When I sit here, as much as I support Lizzie and Johnny, and she's saying, if you work hard and you do this, you don't know when you're going to die. Rashato dasarai, Jemto dasarai. She is doing what she's supposed to do. Advertise a market. But me, moi, I know where my pocket is. I know in life right now, kò ń ṣe kí n jẹun tó dá sára mi nìkan. Kò ń ṣe kí n kọ́lé bẹ́gbọ́n mi ṣe kọ́lé o. Èmi ti dé ibi tí mo ti mọ̀. I know that I have limited resources. I have limited contacts. And if I use the money I've earned right well today, I may be forced to look for it through the wrong means. And I'm not ready to go to jail. I am nice enough to everybody around me. I come here and I shout, I want to do ambassador, I want to do business. How many of you have knocked on my door? So let my reality stay with me. So the penny in hand is 20 million times better than the anticipated millions coming from the bush and invincible that may never arrive. Reality ni mo fẹ́ ká kọjú mọ́. If you call me poor woman, poverty stricken, because I will not borrow money from you. Now, and if I decide to come into your midst, you must recognize that somebody arrived. So my atakpadide is not one without past or taste. With all the money that you claim you have, when did you pay my house rent last? I'm just asking, because you never know what gives people the right to think some people are poorer than they are. When did you help me feed my dog Bam Bam or my son? I have money. Maybe sometimes I even have what most of you think a rich buy. I have just put the money in the right place. So there's no way I can hide him. How is going to be greater, better? All the equipment for his trade. Iba 90 years old. Ibi temi fe invest temi senior. Aye te wan je ti mi ori je yen. I want you to tell me. You dance, Baby wanna dance? Eru, dance? I can't dance. I don't dance. What are you eating? What food? Tell me. Filet mignon. I eat that. Actually, my first degree was catering and hotel management. You want to know what I ate in this house yesterday? That's what I felt like eating. I cooked jasmine rice with onions and salt and a little butter in it by the side. Then I cooked oxtail my own way. Muwafi catfish segbe. Then I decided to go native because I wasn't sure if I was going to eat fufu or rice. So I decided to cook a wedu jute leaves with okra, mowa mix it, and I put a little crayfish with some maggi. And a little pepper by the side with ICC. And I took shower. Tell me, what are you eating that makes you think you're richer than me? Somebody opens the mouth to help us understand how life works, that life is bigger than us all. You feel like you're better. Better than what? Is that what you think everybody wants? You live your life. Let me talk to the people that God still has plans for. The people that are real. When my brother's wife calls me, I never met her. I owe her nothing. That is why you will talk to your in-laws anyhow. Oh no, she's not married. But you are married. Right? And then you have the guts to leave that your husband's house and not die there with your suffering and lack, and go and ask your single in-laws that are not married that know better than you, that can do without sleeping with men and know that they need to face their lives. You go to ask them for help. How dare you? How dare you married people think you're the only ones that ought to live a complete life? There are people that we choose to help. Widows, motherless children, you sleeping beside your husband and beside your wives. I'm not one of them. If we do, we help you because of the children. But it has limitations. So if you are planning to japa or you just japa, tell the people at home, you cannot think of them. Any bamaku maku, any to bamaku maku. Nobody can put me under pressure. You know that song they sing? I wrote it. If anybody bother you this year, this month, this day, black gun, delete am, cancel am. Wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ sí mi lọ́wọ́, kò sí anybody. Mi ò nítorí yín lọ jalè. If you are a family unit right now, don't tell me your children are still konjaye wọn, ẹ jẹ́ kan ṣọmọdé. There's no ọmọdé anywhere anymore. Once they are 15, 16, they have to start realizing the value of money. People are working here, are children that have done so excellently in their early 20s, becoming nurses and doctors and lawyers, but their lifestyle begs for help. They don't know how to respect money. They will leave their parents in the modest life they're living. They will go downtown and rent the most expensive buildings. They drive the most expensive cars. They shut down cinema halls to rent so they can have fun with their friends. They carry coffin. They stay in hotels. These people don't have the sense to understand that they will soon become wives and husbands. And that the shirt they were buying from Louis Vuitton for $2,200 must stop. That they need to prepare today for the children they will have tomorrow. You wonder why their marriages are breaking. Pressure. Reality pressure. When the man realizes that it's no longer mommy and daddy that is paying the bills, that he now begins from zero to pay almost $4,000 a month. That love he has for his wife will jump out the window. When the woman realizes too that food is not waiting, we are not preparing our children to face the world. We put them under our skirts until we now release them. In fact, ceremoniously, it's like somebody dies and you release balloon. You release them into the ashness of the world. That's why they will come back home. Nurses, professionals making the same money that I make will come back home to you because they have no financial wisdom. They have no humane realities. They think that money arrives. You're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and meaning what? It doesn't mean anything if you don't make it mean something. I keep telling you here, life is not as it seems. You have to carve out what you want it to be to you. Go for partners, not love. Love will come when your partner treats you right. Because what you, 90% of you have got love, still blew up in your faces and became hate. Enough to put each other in jail, kill each other, go around town defaming one another. You ought to be negotiators. You look at somebody that is steady, the kind of life that you want, you go for it. The feelings will grow. But you're looking for somebody that makes your heart jump. Reminds me of the story of Sarah. Sarah is a Nigerian woman, 35 years old or so, living in Houston. And it was difficult for her to find the kind of man, or at least for somebody to even notice a professional. She traveled all around the world. She has her own money. So somebody said to her, why don't you go to Nigeria? Maybe you'll meet somebody. She planned to stay like 4 weeks. She ended up staying 3 months because she really did meet somebody. She came back here, filed for that person. He arrived. 3.5 months, still processing the paper. He's coming to America, costed her over $30,000. He was staying at home, living the good life. She was the one going to work, making all the money. And then one day, as a registered nurse, they flexed down. She came home and she got to the door of the bedroom. She stopped. She had to hold herself. And she heard the guy talking to a woman on the other side of the phone. Saying, don't worry, just tell the children, I'm investing. This is all for us. Our family will be okay. Don't worry. The minute she carries the paper in and she files and I get my green card, I'm not even going to wait for citizenship. Once I get that green card, the marriage will be over and then I can bring you in. That is a man for you. She didn't scream. I am also here to teach you as women and men to hold people accountable without leaving the room for sentiment. She did what I would have been the writer of. She didn't scream, Kofulara. She didn't talk. You know what she did? She went back to the car. She said she was numb. Then she cried like she was going to die. She came back into the house, wiped her eyes, kissed him. Didn't say anything to him. Because the interview for the green card was just 6 weeks away. They woke up the same way, laughed the same way, went to bed the same way. He even had sex. She didn't turn him down. After all, legally, in the eyes of God and the innocence in her life, she didn't fight. She didn't report him to the pastor. She didn't report him to anybody. On the day of the interview, she got dressed. Help him straighten out his shirt and put his tie. Meanwhile, in the process, 2 days after that happened, she wrote immigration that she was pulling a sponsorship, that the man was a fraud and he was already married in Nigeria and all that stuff. Sent it to immigration. So they were waiting for him. When they got to the interview, she did not say anything. She sat down. But instead of calling them into a room, it was about 6 or 7 immigration officers with handcuffs that came. They moved him away from her side and put the handcuff in her hand. And they informed him, your sponsor has withdrawn a responsibility over you. And he looked at her and said, this, started begging, started screaming her name in immigration detention camp. Straight up! That's how you deal with us. It is time we start to hold one another accountable. You will tell me she should have had mercy. The man had children. And that is where I'm going this morning. The stories that you hear. You always want to modify the discipline, the punishment that the offenders are suffering. Too many have justice, have accountability, go all the way. By the time we start putting one another in jail, start holding one another accountable, we will have a clean space for our children to live good lives. A lot of us are damaged goods. We are too bitter. We tell you that it's okay, I understand, I forgive you. But the bitterness is still there. And you are going to punish the next 20 people you meet with it. When are we going to be honest about how God has designed the world to be? To hold one another accountable. To use ourselves as examples so that other people will not dare do what someone has done to destroy a dream, destroy a life, derail good people. There are too many good people that are hurt. Too many godly, amazing people that are struggling. There are too many kind people that now turn the blind eyes. Because you have not joined hands with them to hold accountable all the people that have hurt them, stolen from them, broken their homes, disappointed them, murdered their children. You always let them go, only for them to repeat another. I remember when David was murdered and Shakia was running all around town. She had killed my son, strangled David with her hands. And I felt she has a child, 7-year-old. How could I? But they were looking for her. For 7 years she escaped. And the only time they ever caught her was because she killed again. There's certain evil that people do that they will never change. But because it didn't happen to you, you join hands and beat down the person that was wronged, and you make them appear. Wrong, right, mixed up, and cause confusion. Stop telling people what is going on in your lives. Stop telling people how somebody has offended you. Take your own legal actions. Till today, as I'm talking to you, Sarah has become somebody a church member's aide. In fact, Michael's wife in Nigeria had the guts to call her phone and was pleading with her to please help, let the husband get to the papacy for the sake of the children. Can you imagine wanting to use somebody's dreams, somebody's money, somebody's heart to make it okay for your children? There's nothing wrong. Don't twist my words. I never said because Michael was married, Sarah couldn't have filed for him, but it will be with her consent. Láti jẹ́yàwó kejì. Yes, I have experienced it myself when I was in Maryland, Silver Spring, and I'm going to be mentioning him, Funsho Farasimo, friends with my own cousins and friends. Tó ló máa ṣèwé fún mi. Ọjọ́ tí Funsho kó lọ sí ilé apartment tó rent. That was the day I discovered that he was married with 3 or 4 children. All his friends, Uncle Alani, Uncle Lambretta, I want TJ, I want Femi. Nobody knew this man was married at home, filing for the wives. Stop being Alawi. Your friend is not who he says he is. Some people are capable of planning the evil they will do, and so they come into your midst and you think you know what you know about them. You don't know shit about nobody. 419 we will convince our friends, our sisters and brothers to go along with our lives. I'm going to let you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the excuse that this person made me do it is no more. Talk to your children. I know you can't talk to them. They think they know everything because they teach us how to use apps and go into computers and do. No, it has nothing to do with primarily how the world works. And as nurses, Donald Trump says we're no longer professionals. Ofinti yato. All the rules and the laws are different where we stay. It is becoming harder to make money and make it count in the things that matter. We cannot just be sending millions, 45 million, Timba Shihap, Funi, Timba calculate yeti send wave ni muti fi ránṣẹ́ sílé láì jẹ́ pé yan kankan dẹ̀ wá tó máa sọ fún mi pé mo ṣàwọn lólóríire o. Not for one person, for the many people. Ọlọ́run ló mọ iye tó ti jẹ́ ayé mi gan jàǹgbà tí ń rí mo fi wọn kó wọkà mi ó ní kí ló dé. The way we send money that we cannot claim on taxes to help with our lives. The people that you did not meet before you left home, you don't have a right unless if they are under your charity for orphans or widows. All your brothers' wives, your sister's wives, your cousin's cousin, you have no business with them. Let them go and live their lives. You can take care of the few ones you knew that mattered to you before you left home. I'm telling you, If you stay in the corners of your room and send them courses, all the courses you're doing will come back to your head because they didn't force you. You know how many people have called me towards the end of the year? Bagam, decline. I give as led. More so I give, not necessarily even as led, over as much as I have to pay here. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I really would like us to look into how our children spend money. And when I say children, I'm not saying those ones that are young. I'm talking about those ones that are older. The 20s, early 30s. They don't respect money. And the pressure of trying to meet up with the Joneses is breaking their homes. Their love is dying early. Still speak, talk. You are still the mothers of these grown men. You are still the fathers of these grown women. Call them you and them and God. You are not rebuking them. You are just sound checking. And then at the end of the day, even if they don't say a word, remind them of how the word works. That you were once young and had the stars in your eyes. We've not always been this tired, this weak. Once, I remember when I was a soldier. Don't let them remain invincible. If you don't respect money, in fact, even when I was a zealous Christian here, I was praying to God, God help, and I used my rent to pay tithe. Only God said I would not end up homeless because I had enough credit to get loan. Stop underestimating the importance of money. It happens all this Lagbaja bought me a car, so you can't buy me a bicycle. Let them go and meet their fathers to buy them what they need. If it were easy, their fathers would have taken care of their needs. They won't come to you. I too am looking for somebody to do me goodness, but I will not do you bad and disrespect the money that you have given. Somebody gives you money, say, how much is it? Just $200. Why didn't you go and get that $200 from your father? Why did you get it from your mother? Yes, I know your father and your mother are not the ones sleeping with you, so the men that are sleeping with you have to be taxed. But even in that taxation, it needs to be respected. That money, the help that you get, needs to be respected. You understand? Anytime something extra comes, I never see that kind of ifa. I call it ifa. So when I hear people here get it, then the only way it happens in Nigeria is because that is why we're where we are. There is nobody working hard for their money that will spend the way the men in Nigeria spend for girls. You will never have peace in Nigeria. You will never know value in Nigeria because the men need to be stealing to indulge the kind of lifestyle the women are looking for. Hospital, the money that should have been used to build streets and hospitals and good schools for your children to attend, that is the money that you are hailing, that the Baba just bought her a V-boot. The V-boot should have been your school fees. There is nobody on earth, nowhere on earth, you can spend money the way they spend money in Nigeria, only in a corrupt society, where the senators are getting benefits alone is more than the money footballers and basketballers make here. Just the benefit, they have not touched their salaries. They will keep on stealing from you to satisfy the greed and covetousness that you love to hail and praise as a rival in the girls that you know do not work. Girls, all your children that went to school, got a degree, will beg from the wrong girls that your politicians have decided to use corruption to steal your money to upgrade in life. bákan la ṣe máa ṣe bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn, because you don't respect modesty. You will be the one to compare lace versus Ankara. You will be the one to hail people. Your movie industry is not selling, I'm telling you. Even your Igbo girls, Nollywood actors that are Igbos, look at Namji. What do they wear? Simple. They're not killing themselves. They are doing English lifestyle. But the Yoruba, gbogbo nǹkan tí wá ló máa ń lárinrin, ó máa ń ní, ó máa ṣe o. Anyways, if you are in America, London, Canada, you have left home, you will by now have known that money is not that easy to find. And most of the people, like I said, that are around me that seem to be doing great are either from law settlements that they're not discussing with you, arranged accidents, several times, see, insurance to settle one, or they have become fraudulent. On share credit card, want ta gbó, want ta drugs, kẹtórí ẹni tó ṣiṣẹ́ tó pa owó ẹ̀ in the right way, tó wá sọ fún yín pé ń bo lẹ fẹ́ gbé gbà kò sí o. Mi ò ní purọ́ fún yín o. You will see them humble, kind, nice. They never do this to you. They drive according to the wealth and buy according to the credit line that they have. But it is not raw cash from their sweat. And so you will see the way they conduct themselves are different. That's why I decided to stay English and leave the Yoruba circle alone. Aṣọ ẹbí ẹyọ kan àti múra ẹ̀ ó ti wọ $1,000. Owó tán fi fẹ́ yá ìyá mi. I can't keep up. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mò ń sọ. So your next party, you may see me in my nice little jeans and altar top. And toba bi yala ya iriko no kasimi. Mi ò lè jalè. And I can't sleep with your husbands. Because half your husbands are the ones that are helping these girls shine as bright. The money they should have given you to cook that catfish like the one I ate yesterday. And they're using it. After sleeping with the girls, they use the money they should have used to take care of your home and share with these girls on the outside. So when you see women like me that have decided to leave your marriages alone and live in modesty the way we can, please, anytime, respect that. Put money in its rightful place. Money no be water, money na blood. You earn it with your sweat. Even if you're dubious and a criminal, you earn it at the risk of your freedom. Money must always have its rightful place. Respect it. Respect money. Yoga, Elizabeth Adelo Shidi. Good morning. God bless you. And goodbye.